Hey
Hello, what's going
everyone.
on?
Happy Monday. For some people, it's a motivational Monday. For other people, it's a mindful Monday. But if you're here with Say That channel, you know it's the Monday Rundown. Woo! We're excited to be with you. My name is Janelle Villiers. That over there is Winston Broderick, and we are your co-hosts um, who love to, on Mondays, talk about all the things that we don't get to talk about on our Wednesday shows.
Say that.
So you guys have been bringing us some great questions, and then we look to other content creators, other thought leaders on the topic to be able to learn all together, all at the same time. So it's called group learning.
Say that. All right, let's jump into today's topic, guys.
Are we picking emotionally unavailable lovers?
Let's get
Mm.
into it.
Winston and I always love when we start talking about romantic relationships.
I mean, at the end of the day, we know relationships make up obviously so much of our lives, so
Oh,
yeah, it only makes sense.
100%. And we don't get to talk about this on the Wednesday shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'll be very
And so,
vulnerable. I recently just did this and thought to myself, this is so interesting. Am I hoping that maybe it'll change and maybe this guy won't be emotionally unavailable? And the truth is, I think I was. And I am trying to get into a place where one, I'm like, let's quickly identify that. And if we do identify it, it's okay to quickly shut it down. And two, let's quickly find somebody who is emotionally available. So that way, like, I can like just move on from this. And I was fortunate enough to have very adult conversations around it during the whole thing. So it's not
mhm.
like there's no anger, there's no like resentment or anger, none of that. It's just me. Like I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. Now I want to know what it feels like to not have to worry about whether someone is emotionally available or not. I just know that they are. And like, wouldn't that be a lot of fun to be in a relationship where somebody is emotionally
So
available?
what does that mean to you? Because I'm hearing it, and something I've been doing recently is just ensuring I understand what someone understands about a definition of something
Mm.
before, yeah, just so I understand what you're saying. What
This
does it
person,
mean to say that this? Yes.
right? This person identified that they were not in the right place in their life right now to devote any time and headspace towards responding emotionally to a partner. Wants a partner, like doesn't want to be alone, but also like, yeah, you deserve to like when you're having a bad day, want to talk to that person and for that person to be receptive of like what you're going through and what your emotions are and like all of those things. I can't be that for you. I can be that for you maybe like in this moment and right now, but a month from now, 2 months from now, no, that is not something that I can do right now.
Okay. I was just watching, and you, who anyone's ever seen this, Friends with Benefits with Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake. Right? And it's funny because I'm listening to you describe what you're saying, and the movie is called Friends with Benefits, and it sounds like that's what that is. Is that what all that is? Because
I
in
think
without giving it away, go ahead.
right. We didn't it didn't start out that way, but it certainly would have continued if we would have continued any further because I was starting to have feelings like, "Oh no, I like actually really like you and I am friends with you." And we both recognize like if this were to continue, it would be a friends with benefits situation because
Of the emotional thing you just said.
right, yeah, like he's like, "Yeah,
Ah, okay,
I don't want to be there for all the other stuff." So
okay.
I can't commit to that or I can't knowingly walk into more of this where you are like feeling that way and I can't reciprocate in kind.
You know what? So, okay. So, are we picking emotionally unavailable? So, given, but are you choosing? This is so interesting because then in my mind, I'm wondering where, when, like, how long had you guys been? Cause you said you're friends, so how long had you expressed your interest beyond the friendship? Yeah, how long?
Oh,
Yeah,
that
how
was
long is that information?
that was a quick conversation. I shouldn't say quick. I mean,
Oh,
quick
okay.
in that like it was a conversation that lasted probably a week. So it was initiated like, ooh, we definitely are attracted to each other. There's more than just friendship here. There's chemistry. Should we explore this? Are we ready to explore this? And then the decision
Uh,
was let's explore and go as slow as we want. Nobody needs to dictate how fast or how slow we go. We'll just explore and see how it goes. And we both enjoy each other's company. We highly respect each other. So like that hasn't
yeah,
been lost. It's like if we keep going, I'm like, oh man, I'm really emotionally
developing feelings.
invested. Yeah. And
That's
he's
that's
I
the
just
part that I'm interested in. That's the part that I'm fascinated by what the experiences together must be like. Why you find potential, I guess, or can have allowed yourself to become emotionally involved, and the other person what they're going through when they're experiencing those same things with you that limits them from doing that. That seems so short-sighted to me to hear a person. I mean, it's actually maybe not short-sighted. They're actually maybe aware of themselves to
mm,
say, I don't want to just listen to you talk about things that are important to you. Yeah, I don't know. As you said it, it explained it to me. A part of me was just like, how would you know that in advance? Like how would you have gotten
based
that?
on
Like how would you have gotten
recent
to that point?
previous relationships that he had. He
He
recognized
know.
a pattern in himself that he was like, it got
Ah,
to a point and he was like, oh, now there's all these expectations that I
okay,
am now setting myself up for failure because I can't do that. And I don't want to do that to you.
that
Like,
makes sense. Okay, so it's an awareness thing. So
yeah.
okay, then I would say then yeah, if you find yourself, I think you at least had the awareness to have this conversation, and
Yeah.
obviously the way you're describing it, then yeah, if someone's finding themselves in that situation, then yeah, I think they're choosing to. The movie just was running in my mind, and it's funny
No,
as you can see her actions play out, you can kind of tell where what it was leading towards.
hmm,
So I know it's not. What were you gonna
I've
say?
watched the movie and I'm with you on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I was gonna bring up something else from that, but I don't think that this applies because what the guy, there's a guy in that one. If you remember, she told him something about how many dates before they could get intimate, and then he essentially got what he wanted and then kind of tried to cut out. But I don't think that's necessarily an emotional available. I think that's just a dickhead. Excuse my
Yeah.
language. So, but I know it's not just us today. So who do we
It
got?
is not just us. You guys know that we are big fans of the School of Life. So
Take us to
please
school.
take us to school for real.
Say that.
Here we
Let's
go.
do it.
For a long time, it can seem as if we are just unlucky in love. We spent 3 years with one person, and sadly, it was very tumultuous, and in the end, they left us for someone they met at work. Then came another partner, who, after a promising start, turned out to be rather cold and disdainful. Then there was our most recent friend, who, though undoubtedly tender in parts, could never be wholly present in or committed to the relationship. All this can seem like a series of accidents, until, very slowly, perhaps prompted by a kind and clever friend or psychotherapist, we may grow better able to study our patterns. Whatever we tell ourselves, it may be that we have for a long time been picking characters who, we must somewhere inside us know, will not allow matters to flourish. We may have been studiously avoiding a deeply troubling possibility: reciprocated love. And we may do so because our childhood strongly versed us in the need to accommodate ourselves to a difficult or unavailable parent. In our early years, our leading emotional priority might have been, how can I survive around someone who should love me properly, but doesn't? And even more importantly, how can I ensure that I'm not even aware of my deprivation? When they have no alternative but to suffer, children have a highly disturbing yet necessary facility either to overlook or to reconfigure the sources of their own neglect. So good may have we become at selective blindness, it may now influence the way we approach every candidate on our path. To combat our weakness, we might, after any set of promising dates, ask ourselves a frank question. Do we really, really think that this person might have the psychological equipment to allow for a kind and emotionally mature relationship to develop. To extend our questioning, we might turn over some of the following. Could they be our equal, or are we fated to always be the more senior partner? How capable could they be of looking after us as we look after them? Where is this situation likely to be in 2 years' time, and 5 or 10? They may look lovely, but how wise are they? What reserves of stability and goodness might they have? We may be charmed by their wit and their air of drama, but can they ever stop acting the child and meet us as fellow adults? We may be moved by their distant, melancholic air, but to what extent do their troubles allow them to engage with anyone else? They may have an impressive career, but could it sometimes be put aside for our sake? In short, if our life depended on it, and in a way it does, should we be proceeding? We should develop ears as sensitive as a rabbit's to telltale signs of emotional withholding, immaturity, trickiness, and stuckness, the sort of ears that other people acquire without even noticing. Gradually, we should learn to do what we always claimed we were doing, looking for love, not ecstatic torment or fascinating indifference, exhausting evasion or bittersweet abandonment. We should take pride in flexing our newly discovered, can this person maturely love me muscle, and bringing it to bear on anyone who comes our way. It may be one of the most important faculties we are ever kind enough to ourselves to nurture.
This is great.
Wow.
I love the new animation that they used. In particular, when he brought up agony, there was a statue that was shown that's like a real statue. It is in the Vatican, and it is was made by a Greek sculptor, and they don't know who, I think they still don't know exactly who the Greek sculptor is, but it is literally called the agony because the way the man's face is in agony, to the point where like there are some human contortions that like a human actually, like the way his body is, that like his humans can't even actually do like the shape and face and whatever that he is. Like his face even is in places that it can't be in. Anyway, I tell that to say, yeah, it reminded me of like, yeah, that's a real agony, like the abandonment agony, or the agony of not having reciprocated love. So the maturity, the muscle that we need to flex is to pick people or find someone who is mature enough to be in a space to have reciprocal love. I think it is something that we should flex.
Remember the question I asked you earlier about the experiences you had and how you have felt a way about them, and it's led you to the, oh, I think this could be more, and the experience that the guy may have been having and how it didn't. Something they said in there made me think of that again, wondering again, what he said there was a question you should ask. And in my mind, I was like, I wonder how, like, what is it like when she's with this person that she's getting this feedback and feeling to go away? Because here's what I'm getting to. In my mind, verbally, this man may be saying certain things to you, but I'm wondering if his actions aren't the same. Does that make sense? Like, and not saying he's trying to deceive you. I'm not saying that, but he may be doing all of the actions of a person who, hey, I am emotionally here, and yet still have the awareness to say, but not in those other times. I know I'm not really there, but you know what I mean? And for you, it's now going, you know what? I need somebody who's going to be completely there. I don't need a person who's aware enough to say, I am only going to show up for these times or this, whatever interactions, and I'm not. And it's a good place to, again, that person's awareness is great to have at this stage. I don't know. I took my mic.
Agreed. There were some things, we didn't talk about this, but there were some things that happened that made me feel like, oh, maybe this could be more. And little things, like the tiniest of little things. And I didn't talk to him about that because he was also very clear leading up to it. Like, let's go take this really, really slow because I'm not sure if like I'm ready. And I was like, no problem. Like, I'm not in a rush. Like, why do we have to?
Why worry about it?
Yeah, why are we worried about that? Exactly. So I almost feel like it's unfair to say all of the things here without talking to him about it first.
No,
But,
you don't. Yeah, no, that's not what I was looking for. I get
okay.
if you want to, you can. But that's not what I just again in my head it was going to just because the outcome of this may not be, like ideal and oh they got together and it doesn't mean this didn't go great because again it sounds like there was honesty which is very important. It sounds like there's a lot of open communication, and it sounds like
A
there's
lot of communication.
definitely a lot of awareness. And from what I know of just a little bit of your dating history, it's great that you've had this experience as opposed to someone stringing you along and then turn around like, oh no, I never really was into this. It's like, oh okay, I wish you had told
That
me
would
that
have been
months
10
ago.
times worse. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, this to me it's great to hear that it went as well as it did.
Yeah.
This is very good.
Yeah.
And thank you, School of Life. I feel more educated by this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments, guys. Am I the only one? Am I the only one who's
You're
recently
not.
gone through something like this?
Yeah. No, you're not. The comments are gonna be like, girl.
Well, I'm here for it. Let me know.
There we go.
But until next week, as always, remember that you deserve the good life. Say that.
So we'll see you guys. Have a great week.